You are about to learn how to make a simple table in SketchUp, and the best ways to teach this to Geek Squad Academy Junior agents. You've already met Stan Lee. He's fine to stay here as we build the table. You can follow along with the PowerPoint presentation or with SketchUp. After you've opened SketchUp and chosen the feet and inches template, use the rectangle tool to draw a simple table shape. I'll make ours 3 feet by 5 feet. And the way that you can choose this is by entering on the keyboard 3 apostrophe, comma, 5 apostrophe, and hitting enter. You don't have to click to begin typing, just hit the numbers you want. We're going to use the push and pull tool in order to give our table the correct height. We could measure it manually, but I'm going to instead just choose 2 apostrophe to make it 2 feet tall. We can zoom in and use the orbit tool in order to see the bottom of the table. Here, we're going to give our table 4 legs, and we're going to make each leg 4 inches by 4 inches. We can do that with the rectangle tool, and by drawing a shape, and then choosing 4, 4, and hitting enter. We can do that for each one of the legs of the table. What we'll do now is use the push and pull tool to push the bottom of our table upward. We're going to leave a little bit of room at the top. Now we need to look at our table from the top in order to give it a little bit of a wider surface. We're going to use the offset tool and make our table somewhere around 2 inches wider than the base of the table. We can do that just by choosing 2 on the keyboard after we've made our shape and hitting enter. What we'll have to do next is raise the parts of the surface of the table separately in order to make it work. We can use the push-pull tool to lift up. I'm going to choose again 2 inches just by hitting 2 and enter on the keyboard. And we'll do the same for the center of the table, but there's actually a trick that we can use with the push and pull tool. If we begin to lift and then run where our cursor is over the edge that we had already set, it'll snap to the exact same height as the edge of the table that we had just made. I'll show you that one more time. If, as we're lifting up, we run our mouse over that edge, it snaps right to the exact same height. That'll be a secret that we'll use a little later on as well. Now that our table surface is all the same height, we can use the eraser tool in order to make the surface all one piece. And this works just by way of dragging across the 4 parts of the inner surface of the table. What we're going to do next is give our table a little bit of an offset underneath here. This will make our table a little more realistic looking. So we can use our offset tool and drag in, and I'm going to again choose 2 inches. We can then use the push and pull tool in order to lift the bottom of the inside of our table up, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4 inches, just by hitting 4 on the keyboard and pressing enter. This gives the underside of our table a little more realistic of a shape. Now we're going to make a shelf for the bottom of the table. There are absolutely a couple of ways to do this, but one of the easiest is to use the rectangle tool here in order to draw a shape across 2 of the legs of our table. You could even go up to exactly the midpoint, which it'll snap to, turn that blue color and say the word midpoint. When you do that, it's going to fill in not just the top, but also the bottom of this new shape. You can use the select tool in order to select the top part and press the delete key on the keyboard to get back that open shape. Now we're going to use our push and pull tool and the secret that we learned earlier. Here we can drag our shape until it matches the front part of the opposite set of legs. and then go around our shape as we pull it out as well. We've now got the top of the shelf, but we're going to have to use the push-pull tool again to lift from the bottom in order to give our shelf the exact dimensions that it needs. Now you've got a very simple table that Bob should enjoy. Your students will probably not need any sort of explanation of how to paint the shape, but there are ways to make it even easier. If you use the Select tool to select every bit of the table, when you choose the paint bucket and the color or the texture that you want to use, you can click once instead of 18 times in order to paint every surface of the table all at once. And this allows you to give Bob a pretty sharp looking table. Challenge your students to see what else they can make. They might be able to put a bowl or a cup or anything else on the surface of the table, or use the 3D text tool in order to make the table just exactly what they want. Enjoy!